Have you ever felt like someone around you had bad intentions but couldn't put your finger on why? Today, we're diving deep into 5 signs of evil people and how Stoic wisdom can help you protect yourself from their manipulation and harm. Let's begin with an unsettling truth. Sometimes, the ones who cause the most harm are the people we trust the most. Evil can take many forms. Sometimes, it's subtle, hidden behind a mask of charm or good intentions. Stoicism teaches us to see the truth through the fog, to rely on reason and virtue to protect ourselves. In today's video, we'll cover how Stoic principles can help you identify and defend yourself from those who seek to manipulate or harm you. We often think of evil as something distant, a rare occurrence, but the truth is, evil people can be closer than we realize. Whether it's a manipulative colleague, a friend who takes advantage of your trust, or someone who seems to take joy in your misery, these individuals can deeply harm your mental and emotional well-being. The challenge lies in recognizing the signs before it's too late. The Stoics, including Marcus Aurelius, remind us that we can't control others' actions, but we can control how we respond. Let's dive into the first sign you need to watch out for. Here are 5 key signs that someone may have evil intentions, and how you can protect yourself using Stoic principles. Let's start with manipulation, one of the most common and dangerous signs of an evil person. Manipulation isn't always obvious. It often wears a mask of concern or helpfulness, making it difficult to recognize at first. The manipulator is skilled at subtly influencing your thoughts and decisions without you realizing it, and this is where their power lies. Imagine you're constantly second-guessing yourself around a certain person, whether it's a friend, a colleague, or even a family member. They might say things like, "I'm only looking out for you," or "You wouldn't understand, but I know what's best for you." These phrases sound supportive, but they're designed to make you doubt your own judgment and become reliant on theirs. Marcus Aurelius, one of the greatest Stoic philosophers, taught that the only thing truly under our control is our mind. Manipulators want to control this very thing, but Stoicism reminds us that we can only be manipulated if we allow it. The Stoic solution to manipulation is detachment and self-awareness. Let's see, first of all, the detachment. Epictetus taught that external events, including other people's words and actions, are beyond our control. But how we interpret them is entirely up to us. When you feel manipulated, the first step is to detach emotionally from the situation. Ask yourself, is this person trying to influence me for their own benefit? Once you separate your emotions from their manipulation, you begin to reclaim your power. Now let's see in details the self-awareness. The manipulator's main tool is confusion. By making you doubt your reality, they exert control over your decisions. Combat this by regularly checking in with yourself. Journaling, for example, is a powerful Stoic practice that helps you reflect on your interactions. Write down moments when you felt manipulated and analyze them objectively. This practice strengthens your ability to recognize manipulation in real time and helps you trust your own judgment. But what are some practical steps to avoid manipulation? Let's see. Step number 1 is to recognize gaslighting. Gaslighting is when someone manipulates you into questioning your own perception of reality. For instance, if someone tells you, "You're overreacting," or "That never happened," pay attention. Gaslighting is a classic manipulation tactic. The Stoic way to handle this is to stay grounded in your own truth. Don't let someone else rewrite your story. Use logic, not emotion, to assess the situation. Step number 2 is to set clear boundaries. Manipulators push boundaries because they thrive on control. Set firm boundaries with people who consistently try to manipulate you. Don't be afraid to say no or distance yourself from situations where your autonomy is being compromised. Remember, you owe no one an explanation for protecting your peace of mind. Finally, step number 3 is to stay calm and detached. Manipulators love drama. It's how they get their hooks into you. The more emotional you become, the easier you are to control. Stay calm and detached. Don't give them the emotional reaction they're seeking. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events." Realize this, and you will find strength. By staying composed, you weaken the manipulator's grip over you. When you recognize manipulation and detach from it, you protect yourself from its toxic effects. In Stoicism, detachment is not indifference. It's about guarding your peace and remaining in control of your own mind. The second sign of an evil person is lack of empathy. This trait is perhaps more subtle but equally as dangerous as manipulation. Empathy is the ability to understand and share the feelings of others, and it's a fundamental part of any healthy relationship. When someone lacks empathy, they see others as objects, not as human beings with emotions and worth. This person might appear charming or friendly on the surface, but when push comes to shove, their actions reveal a cold disregard for how their behavior affects others. Let's break it down. Someone without empathy will show little concern for your feelings, even in moments of vulnerability. They might dismiss your emotions, tell you that you're being overly sensitive, or fail to acknowledge your pain. They'll hurt others and not think twice about it because, in their mind, other people's emotions are irrelevant. Marcus Aurelius and the Stoics believed deeply in compassion and the interconnectedness of humanity. Stoicism doesn't just teach us how to guard against evil, but also how to treat others with kindness and understanding. As Marcus Aurelius wrote, "We are made for cooperation, like feet, like hands, like eyelids." So how do we apply this when faced with someone who lacks empathy? The Stoic response to lack of empathy is discernment and emotional boundaries. What is discernment? Stoics always advised that we approach people with kindness, but also with wisdom. Not everyone who appears friendly is truly well-meaning. Observe how a person reacts to the suffering or joy of others. Do they genuinely care, or do they dismiss others' emotions as insignificant? This tells you a lot about their character. As Marcus Aurelius often reminded himself, we must accept people as they are, but we should never let them cloud our own judgment. What are emotional boundaries? People without empathy will try to make you feel guilty for their lack of care. They might accuse you of being too emotional or too sensitive. Recognize these tactics for what they are: attempts to manipulate your emotions. Stoicism teaches that while we can be compassionate, we must also protect our inner peace. Set clear emotional boundaries, knowing that it's not your job to fix someone's inability to empathize. Now, let's dive in some practical steps to deal with those who lack empathy. Step number 1 is to stop expecting them to change. This is a hard truth to accept. Stoicism teaches us to manage our expectations and to recognize that we cannot change other people. If someone consistently shows a lack of empathy, stop expecting them to suddenly become caring. Instead, adjust how you interact with them. Keep emotional distance if needed. Step number 2 is to focus on your own compassion. Stoics believe that the only thing we control is our own actions. Even if someone lacks empathy, that doesn't mean you have to respond in kind. Continue to live according to your own values, practicing compassion and kindness where appropriate. However, don't confuse kindness with weakness. Kindness can also mean protecting yourself from harm. And finally, step number 3 is to don't let them drain your energy. People without empathy can be emotionally draining. They may take advantage of your kindness without ever reciprocating. Stoicism teaches us to protect our energy. If someone consistently leaves you feeling drained, it's okay to limit your interactions with them. Your peace of mind is a priority. By recognizing the lack of empathy in others and setting clear emotional boundaries, you guard yourself against their indifference. Remember that Stoicism teaches us to approach others with wisdom and discernment. Be kind, but also be cautious. The third sign of an evil person is deception and lies. Deception is a deliberate attempt to mislead, and lies are the foundation of manipulation and betrayal. Whether it's small white lies or larger, more damaging deceptions, this behavior is rooted in selfishness and a lack of respect for the truth. Marcus Aurelius often wrote about the importance of living in accordance with nature, and that means living truthfully. He believed that lies, even when seemingly harmless, distort reality and erode trust. Stoicism places immense value on truth because it is through truth that we can see the world clearly and act justly. Evil people lie for many reasons: to protect themselves, to manipulate others, or simply because they don't value the truth. These lies are not always obvious. Sometimes they take the form of half-truths, omissions, or misleading statements. The The Stoic approach to deception is to always seek clarity and remain grounded in reality, no matter how uncomfortable that reality may be. Stoicism teaches that the antidote to deception is honesty, self-reliance, and clarity. First, honesty. As Stoics, we must first commit to living truthfully ourselves. If we live by honesty, we're more likely to detect lies in others. People who value the truth can sense when something doesn't align. Make it a personal practice to speak honestly, even when it's difficult. This not only strengthens your character but sharpens your ability to spot deception. Then, the self-reliance. Relying too heavily on others for validation or approval makes us more susceptible to lies. Evil people prey on our need for validation by telling us what we want to hear. Stoicism teaches us to cultivate self-reliance. When we validate ourselves and trust in our own values, we're less likely to fall for someone else's lies. Finally, clarity. Evil people rely on confusion and deception to maintain control. As a Stoic, your job is to seek clarity in all things. Ask questions, demand straightforward answers, and don't accept vague or evasive responses. As Marcus Aurelius said, "If it is not right, do not do it. If it is not true, do not say it." Seek out the truth and be unwavering in your commitment to it. Let's now see some of the practical steps to handle deception and lies. Step 1. Confront lies directly. If someone has lied to you, confront it directly, but calmly. Don't get caught up in emotional outbursts. Acknowledge the lie for what it is and ask for the truth. Even if they deny it, confronting deception head-on weakens the liar's power over you. Marcus Aurelius believed that calmly confronting reality is one of the highest forms of courage. Step 2. Trust actions, not words. Deceptive people can be very convincing with their words, but words mean nothing without actions to back them up. The Stoics emphasized focusing on actions, what people do, not what they say. Pay attention to patterns of behavior. If someone's words and actions don't align, trust their actions every time. Step 3. Limit trust gradually. If someone has lied or deceived you before, it's essential to limit how much you trust them moving forward. Stoicism doesn't encourage us to cut people out entirely, but rather to manage our expectations. Be cautious in what you share with someone who has proven themselves dishonest, and guard your energy. Deception destroys relationships, but Stoicism arms us with the tools to protect ourselves from lies. By living truthfully, relying on our own values, and seeking clarity in all situations, we can defend ourselves against the harm caused by deceptive people. Let's now discuss control, the fourth sign of evil people. Unlike obvious forms of manipulation, control is much more subtle, and therefore even more dangerous. Evil people often mask their controlling nature behind a facade of caring or helping. They will try to make you believe that their constant supervision and influence are for your benefit, that they know what's best for you, and that they are just protecting you. But in reality, their aim is to dominate your choices, your emotions, and ultimately, your life. These people exert control by limiting your freedom. It could start small. "You should wear this instead." Or, "I think you should spend less time with that friend." Slowly, their control tightens until you find yourself dependent on their approval and permission to make any decision. Marcus Aurelius and the Stoics taught that true freedom lies in recognizing and protecting what's within your control, not submitting to someone else's will. The Stoic approach to control is all about self-governance and reclaiming your autonomy. Let's break it down. So, first of all, recognize control tactics. The first step in protecting yourself from controlling individuals is to recognize their tactics. They often use guilt, shame, or even kindness to manipulate you into compliance. They might say things like, "I just want what's best for you," or "You'll regret this if you don't listen to me." These statements are meant to make you doubt yourself and hand over control of your choices. Stoicism teaches us that we should trust in our own ability to reason. Remember, you are capable of making your own decisions. Then, reclaim your boundaries. In Stoicism, personal freedom is sacred. Epictetus wrote, "No man is free who is not master of himself." If someone is trying to control your decisions, it's essential to set clear, firm boundaries. You need to remind yourself and the other person that you have the right to make your own choices. Boundaries are not just about saying no, they are about affirming your independence and autonomy. What are some practical steps to protect against control? First step is to trust your inner wisdom. One of the reasons people fall victim to controlling individuals is because they doubt their own judgment. In Stoicism, self-trust is vital. Don't let anyone else make you feel incapable of making good decisions for yourself. Marcus Aurelius taught that reason and wisdom lie within you. Learn to trust in your ability to evaluate and act without needing constant approval. Second step is to use assertive communication. Controlling people often depend on passive or uncertain responses to maintain control. Stoicism teaches us to speak and act with clarity and purpose. If someone tries to control your actions or decisions, respond with firm but respectful statements like, "I appreciate your concern, but I'll make the final decision myself," or "This is my choice, and I've considered what's best for me." Third step is to don't seek their approval. Many controlling people prey on the human need for approval. They may withhold praise or affection to manipulate you into seeking their validation. Stoicism reminds us that we don't need anyone's approval to live a good life. Epictetus said, "If you wish to be free, desire nothing which depends on others." This means your worth doesn't come from external validation, it comes from within. Last step is to distance yourself when necessary. If someone consistently seeks to control you, it's important to evaluate whether this person should remain in your life. Stoicism doesn't teach us to cut people out lightly, but if someone is damaging your autonomy and peace of mind, it's okay to step back or distance yourself. You are responsible for your own freedom, and it's up to you to protect it. Here are some examples of control in daily life. Let's look at a couple of scenarios. Imagine a friend who constantly tells you what to wear, what to say, or who to be friends with. Over time, this advice becomes more forceful, and you find yourself questioning every decision you make. Or maybe it's a colleague who always insists on managing every aspect of a project, leaving no room for your input or ideas. In both cases, these individuals are trying to limit your freedom of choice. The Stoic approach is to calmly but assertively reclaim your space and your voice. In Stoicism, freedom is not just about physical independence, it's about mental and emotional autonomy. If someone is trying to take control of your life, protect yourself by setting boundaries, trusting your own reasoning, and maintaining your independence. As Marcus Aurelius said, "The happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts." Don't let anyone control those thoughts or the decisions they lead to. The fifth sign of an evil person is their tendency to spread negativity. Some people seem to thrive on chaos and misery. They're like walking storm clouds, always bringing drama and conflict wherever they go. These individuals don't just experience negative emotions, they actively project them onto others. Whether it's through constant complaining, criticism, or creating problems where none exist, their goal is to drag others down with them. You've probably encountered someone like this. Maybe it's a coworker who's never happy, no matter the circumstance. Or a friend who, instead of celebrating your successes, finds a way to make you feel guilty or inadequate. Marcus Aurelius warned us to be mindful of the company we keep. He wrote, "The soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts." In other words, if you surround yourself with negativity, it's easy to let that negativity seep into your own thoughts and emotions. So how does Stoicism help you handle people who constantly spread negativity? It comes down to emotional resilience and protecting your mental space. What is resilience against negativity? In Stoicism, we learn to remain emotionally detached from external events, including the negativity of others. When someone brings negativity into your life, the Stoic response is not to absorb it, but to recognize it for what it is, an external event that doesn't need to affect your inner peace. As Marcus Aurelius said, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." Instead of letting someone else's negativity bring you down, use it as a reminder to reinforce your emotional resilience. How to protect your mental space. Stoics believe in protecting their peace of mind. This means not allowing the negativity of others to invade your thoughts. You can't control how others act, but you can control your response. When faced with constant negativity, remind yourself that their behavior is a reflection of their internal state. not yours. Your peace is your responsibility. Let's now dive in the most powerful practical steps to handle negativity. Step 1. Don't engage with their drama. Negative people often try to pull you into their drama because they feed off emotional reactions. The more you engage, the more power they have. Instead, practice apatheia, the Stoic principle of remaining emotionally undisturbed. If someone is complaining or being overly critical, don't feed into it. Stay calm, acknowledge their feelings, but don't get drawn into their spiral of negativity. This diffuses their control over the situation. Step 2. Set limits on negativity exposure. Just as you limit your exposure to physical toxins, limit your exposure to emotional toxins. If someone is constantly negative, it's okay to limit how much time you spend with them or how much you engage in their conversations. You can do this gracefully. Let them know you're choosing to focus on positive or productive conversations. It's a boundary that protects your mental health. Step 3. Reframe negative conversations. Another powerful Stoic technique is to reframe negativity into something constructive. For example, if someone is complaining about work, instead of feeding into the complaints, ask them, "What do you think would make the situation better?" This forces the conversation to shift from negativity to solutions. While you may not always be able to change the person's mindset, it can help redirect the conversation towards something more positive or productive. Step 4. Stay grounded in positivity. Stoicism doesn't teach us to ignore reality or pretend problems don't exist, but it does teach us to focus on what we can control and maintain a positive outlook. Surround yourself with positive influences, books, friends, hobbies that uplift you. When negativity comes your way, remember that it's temporary and focus on the things that bring you joy, purpose, and clarity. Let's now see some examples of spreading negativity. You might have a colleague who complains about every little thing at work, the weather, the workload, even their personal life. Over time, this constant negativity can wear you down, making you feel just as miserable. Or perhaps you have a friend who, instead of supporting your goals, always tells you why they'll fail. These individuals are toxic, and their negativity can cloud your own ambitions and happiness if you're not careful. The Stoic solution is to stay grounded, maintain emotional distance, and surround yourself with positive, supportive people. In Stoicism, protecting your peace means learning to shield yourself from negativity. When others try to bring you down, remember Marcus Aurelius's wisdom. You have power over your mind, not outside events. Stay focused on what matters to you, and let others' negativity pass through like a passing storm. Don't let it settle in your mind. Of all the Stoic tools we've discussed, the most powerful is indifference, specifically indifference to external events and actions. When you adopt this mindset, you strip evil people of their power. They can no longer manipulate your emotions or dictate your reactions. Remember Marcus Aurelius's advice. The best revenge is to be unlike the one who wronged you. By staying calm, by not reacting emotionally to their provocations, you rise above their control. To recap, the 5 signs of evil people are manipulation, lack of empathy, deception, control, and spreading negativity. But with Stoicism, you can protect yourself. Stay grounded, stay virtuous, and remember, you have the power over your own mind and actions. No one can take that from you. By applying Stoic principles, you can navigate life's challenges with wisdom and resilience. Now that you know how to spot evil people and protect yourself, we'd love to hear your experiences. Drop a comment below and share your thoughts. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more content on Stoic wisdom. Join our growing community, and let's keep learning together.